Can I have a kiss, please? Mwah. Can I have a kiss, Christopher? Please. I love you. Do you love me? He doesn't love me. Hi everybody, welcome back to Naja LS. Today I'm going to be talking about the 10 tips that I think every college freshman needs to know. I just finished my freshman year at Florida State University, which is great, but there were a lot of things that I wish people would have told me, and I was like floundering for like a good semester and a half. So I decided to make this video to share with all the new kids going into college in the fall, to let them know what you should be prepared for. My first tip is to keep on top of your deadlines. It is so important to know when your deadlines are. I missed a couple here or there in my first semester, and it really affected the classes that I got to take, my grades, because sometimes things would just pop up out of nowhere and I had no idea that I had a 2,500 word paper due the next day. It's also really important to pay things that you owe to the school on time, because then, if you're paying it late, they add on a late fee, and those, I would definitely recommend buying a planner and actually using the planner. I bought a planner, and I would use it for like the first 2 or 3 weeks of class, and then I get, settled into a routine, and that's when I start forgetting things. So definitely buy a planner, use the planner. My second tip is to be nice, which sounds easy and silly, but it's actually really important. College is the first place that I've ever been where literally everybody who was there was trying to make friends. It's not like high school where, there are people who have been going to school together since preschool. The majority of people who are coming with the objective of making new friends, because they're coming from all over the state, all over the country. It's just such a mixed bag that it's really important to, be nice to everybody, because you never know who you're gonna make friends with. I mean, my 2 weeks in my dorm were like the nicest thing I've ever experienced. Like, people were holding open doors for everybody, holding elevators, complimenting outfits. It was great. So yeah, definitely keep an open mind, because you're gonna make new friends, and be nice, because you never know who those new friends are gonna be. My third tip, I feel like, is super important. Do not buy the book before you go to the class, because the majority of my classes this year, we had a book assigned, and we went to the class on the first day, which is normally the day that we go over the syllabus, and the teacher basically said, we're not going to use it. So definitely wait until, the teacher tells you you're going to need the book before you decide to buy the book. My fourth tip is, if you know for a fact you need the book, do not buy it brand new. Get it used, get it from Chegg, get it from the library. You can even ask your professor if a previous edition of the book works just as well, because sometimes they release new editions of books and they only change a few sentences or a few topics here and there. And if you do have to buy, a previous edition is going to be way cheaper than the current edition. So ask your professor, because the 13th edition might work just as well as the 15th edition. My fifth tip: know when your registration opens for classes. I made this mistake twice in my first year. I had no idea when my registration windows opened for classes, and so I got stuck with 8 a.m. And you don't really get the classes that you want. You just kind of get the classes that are left that nobody else wanted. So yeah, it's really important that you know when your registration opens. My sixth tip is to get some rest. Okay, a lot of people sort of glorify not resting, or I only got 2 hours of sleep last night, or things like that, and it's not good for your health. Even if you're a person who doesn't really get good sleep at night like I am, set aside some time during the day to sort of catch up on that sleep debt, because it's so important that you get adequate rest, or else you're just gonna crash and burn. My seventh tip is to participate in on-campus events. My school planned so many events last year, from a spring fling carnival, they have an on-campus movie theater where they show free movies all year. They have events in the dorms where you could go paint pots and get free pizza and ice cream. Just overall, campuses throw a lot of events just to, make new students feel welcome and have a good time there. So definitely check those out, especially if there's free food involved, which for a lot of them there are. My 8th tip is to take advantage of your campus resources. Sorry, I got a cat hair in my nose. My 8th tip is to definitely take advantage of the campus resources. Back when I talked about renting books from your campus, you could do that from the library for free if your teacher puts a book on course reserve. There's also things like Academic OneSearch, which if you're writing research papers is a great concentration of databases for you to search through to find peer-reviewed articles that'll help you a lot. And this kind of differs from campus to campus, but at Florida State, we can rent out things like cameras, Xboxes, GoPros, anything that really you could think of technologically they have. And so definitely take advantage of those if you're interested in those things. Tip number 9 is to learn how to budget and stick to it, which is probably the hardest tip on this list, especially because, it's your first time out of the house, it's your first time really being responsible for where your money goes. It can be hard to keep track of where your money is going and, what you're spending the most on, which in my case was food. In a lot of people's cases is food. So if you do decide to keep a planner, try and keep a budget in there as well. Make yourself a little expense report, see how much you spent on Waffle House that week. It was too much. It's so stupid. It really was too much though. I spent a lot of money on Waffle House. It can be really hard to enforce a budget on yourself, but you're gonna get better at it because once you spend a little too much money on something that you don't need, you're hungry for the rest of the week. My last tip for college freshmen is to make your own food, okay? Meal prep saved my life. You can go on campus and you can go into the campus store and buy yourself a little fruit cup for $5. Or you can go to the grocery store, spend $10 and get enough fruit to last you the entire week. It takes more work and you have to set more time aside, but you will definitely save money compared to on-campus prices for food. And those are my 10 tips to survive your freshman year. Thanks for watching, you guys. If you want, you can subscribe, which I think is over here, and then you can also check out my last video. I went to New York to visit my grandma, and me and my cousin also took a day trip to Times Square, which was super fun. It took me like 7 hours to edit, but I'm really proud of the way it turned out. So thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.